Thursday morning. Good morning, Afyong.
Yes, good morning, Priye. My name is Afyong Gayani. Welcome to the
She's
newspaper.
Cold.
I'm not cold, kind of.
She's cold.
Welcome to the newspaper review.
Yes, it's good to have you with us, Lagos. It's good to have you with us, Nigeria. And people wait with bated breath as they are expecting the number of persons or the kind of people that will make the cabinet of Mr. President for all the eyes of Nigerians. And I did say that including the eyes of business and joint ventures, enterprises and private sector investors, they want to know those who will be emerging for the positions of the cabinet as ministers, those who will be occupying strategic positions, strategic and very, very sensitive and critical positions, like the Minister of Petroleum Resources, the Minister of Finance, and other strategic ministries, of course. And I'm sure we will be having some list of persons that might be coming up or that we will see in the pages of newspapers today. So ministries, departments and agencies are very, very critical to whichever administration or to the chief executive that is going to be governing, because these are the people that will be handling the business sectors, security agencies. We remember how Mr. President wrote a letter to the Nigerian Senate yesterday asking Godswill Obot-Akpabio to and the Nigerian Senate to look at the names that have been sent to them. CJ Musa, who is the Chief of Defense Staff, Mr. Lagbaja, who is the Chief of Army Staff, Mr. HB Bubakar, who is the Chief of Air Staff, and Mr. Ogala, who is the Chief of Naval Staff. To look at them, and that those are the recommended names to the Senate, and to equally approve those names, so that the issue about fighting insecurity and terrorism, can not only gather momentum, but can forge a successful fight against criminals. Yes, let's briefly go on a break. When we return, we'll jump into the business of the day. It's the newspaper review. Do stay with us.
Avenue to blast your brand. Why not let us be your detonator at High Impact Radio 102.1 FM with Got You Covered. For advert placement, sponsorship, partnership, call us on 0706 393 5694, 0915 958 1881, 0902 745 3931. Or send an email to info@highimpactstudio.com.
Join us Mondays to Fridays at 7:05 a.m. to 8 a.m. for freshly baked stories on the newspaper review at High Impact 102.1 FM. Follow us on social media at High Impact 102.1 FM or call 0700 1021 1021. You can also send WhatsApp messages to 0907 224 5018. High Impact 102.1 FM, your urban lifestyle station.
Welcome back, and many thanks for joining us on the program. Welcome back, and many thanks for joining us on the program. Right here on High Impact 102.1 FM. Before I start reading out the stories making the rounds on front pages of the newspapers, let me tell you that you can join us via phone calls this morning. You can listen to the red lines being read out, and whichever one that caught your attention, you can call into the program and give your perspective, and you can pass one or two comments about these stories. Straight away, let me take you to stories making the rounds on front page of the Punch. No, not the Punch. Let me go to the Vanguard newspaper. On the front page of the Vanguard newspaper, we have stories talking about politics, and the central caption says PDP governors APC differ over security situation nationwide. PDP governors and APC differ over security situation nationwide. Moving on, ill health. Akeredolu not incapacitated. That's coming from Ondo State government. Akeredolu not incapacitated. We know that Oluwarotimi Akeredolu, who is the executive governor of Ondo State at the moment, is not feeling fine, so traveled out of the country for medical attention, and where he ceded power or enacting capacity to the deputy governor. And recently, the day before yesterday, that time of 21 days of being away elapsed, and he wrote another letter to the State House of Assembly to extend the number of days that the executive governor is going to be away, while the acting governor, which is the deputy, will be continuing with the activities and the work of governance. Moving on to other stories, Tunde Rahman and 19 others make lists of Tinubu's appointments. Tunde Rahman and 19 others make list of Tinubu's appointments. Cabinet list. Religion can't divide us. Osun government replies Murik. Religion can't divide us. Osun government replies Murik. Despite distress calls, police refuse to come to our aid. That's coming from UNIO students. UNIO students allege.
That's University of Uyo.
Exactly. Despite distress calls, police refuse to come to our aid. University of Uyo students allege. Insecurity. Lagos Assembly calls on National Assembly to establish state police. Insecurity. Lagos Assembly calls on National Assembly to establish state police. Afyong, the issue about state police has been on the front burner in previous administration, in Goodluck Jonathan's administration, Muhammadu Buhari's administration. That particular conversation came to the fore, and it was just perpetually on the front burner of the polity because of the spate of insecurity across the country. And now we know that from the views, those who have been fielding their views and their take concerning state police, we know that the southern part of Nigeria who always want state police. It's not that the northern part doesn't want state police, but compared to the south, the number of persons showing interest for state police is quite below the number of governors looking out for that state police there. So insecurity, Lagos Assembly calls on National Assembly to establish state police. Moving on, quality control mechanism is constantly upgraded. Customs impounds 62 trailers of rice, Indian hemp and others worth 4 billion naira. Tinubu expresses sadness and grief over latest rounds of killings in Plateau State.
That is something that, in fact, I don't even know what to say to that situation when it comes to insecurity in Nigeria. I mean, it's getting, I don't know which other level, out of place, and mostly it's Jos, it's Plateau. Remember, over 10 years ago or so, I used to know that Plateau Jos is a place where you go for, vacation. You just go relax. Everybody wants to be in Jos. I want to go to Jos. I want to go see the rocks and everything. The weather is something. But over the years, over 10 years now or more, we've been seeing that there have been attacks, incessant attacks every time. And it has really, really brought down the value in terms of vacation, in terms of tourism to that particular place. What should have been, and what I call more
tourist
attraction to the state has actually turned to something which is
internal revenue for the
very,
government.
very bad, and people are no more going to Plateau. Now look at this recent attack again, and the president is feeling very sad about it. I'm just concerned, and I hope something can be done about this. Talking about state police, we need state police, and there has been a mantra and saying we have to look at this thing squarely. State policing. I remember the president, this current president, talking about state police before he was president, and I think if he looks at this squarely, you will know that state police is the only way out. The only way out.
I may not completely say state police is the only way out, while state police police has its own advantage, even if, or let's say it comes to be a reality in Nigeria, they will still receive huge support from the Central Police Force. And when the Central Police Force, there will be some issues that the Central Police Force will have the sole discretion and prerogative to indulge in such issues, because it has, because of the template or the framework that might be governing the operations of state police. But well, let's keep our hands crossed. As state police, the advantages are numerous in the sense that it's been an environment in the state, and of course they have quick access to the response other than what's coming from the federal level. Okay. Moving on, ownership of LASU land crisis deepens as Iba community threatens war. Ribadu, ridding Nigeria of corruption is possible, says Ribadu, Chukol, Jedi Agba, and others. And finally, Senate probes oil subsidy under recovery regime. Those are the stories making the rounds on front page of the Vanguard newspaper.
All right, let's take a look at the Punch newspaper. We have so many stories here, but let me take the big headline first. So the big headline on the Punch newspaper is saying Nigerian students face tough times in UK. Tuition soars by 60%. I'll take that headline again. Nigerian students face tough times in UK. Tuition soars by 60%. It has two riders. New forex rate threatens overseas students, indebted scholars barred from classes. And also another rider saying parents beg federal government for concession as tuition, living costs climb amid forex crisis. Let's leave that story. We're back to that story, but let's go on to another story. Up on the front page of the newspaper, the left corner, is saying SEC investigate Otudeco's FBN share acquisition. Another story is also saying PDP's governors demand credible polls in Bayelsa, Imo, and Kogi. Okay, you can read that up in page 8 of the Punch newspaper. Let's move over to another story. APC crisis deepens as Omishore labels Lukman black sheep. APC crisis deepens as Omishore labels Lukman black sheep. Underneath the Punch newspaper, police sit at home enforces IPOB declares 14-day lockdown. Police insist sit at home.
I think police kill sit at home of enforcers.
Police kill sit at home enforcers. IPOB declares 14-day lockdown. That's so sad. Page 27 of the Punch newspaper. Let's look at another story. Panel storms Autumn's automobile workshop impounds vehicles. Panel storms Autumn's automobile workshop impounds vehicles. Another story. FMDQ exchange launches derivatives market. You can read that up in page 22 of the Punch newspaper. But let's look at the big headline on the Punch newspaper. Nigerian students face tough times in UK. Tuition soars by 60%. Priya, what is your take on that story?
Well, even in Nigeria, tuition fee has soared. So, and that's even one of the reasons why we saw some stakeholders begging the federal government, or not just begging. That's why on that particular write of that story, you see stakeholders saying to the government to show some level of concession because of the hardship in the land and by virtue of the removal of fuel subsidy and other economic variables. They will need to hardship. There's hardship. There's some form of inflation.
I think also
the cost of living, the cost of food items, the cost of transportation. It's on the high side. It's on the very, very, very high side. So It's not only Nigeria that's currently experiencing that. In the UK, that's another story too. And we will see our guest joining us today. He's an accountant who also doubles as he's an authority when it comes to account and the value, inflation, the level of standard of living in both the country and out of the country. So we will be talking to him about that to tell us what exactly is the cause for this and how the government should respond to it, both in the UK and over here at home, and how Nigerians themselves, home and abroad, should respond to the economic hardship.
And now let's look at this story. APC crisis deepens as Omisore labels Lukman black sheep. I was asking a big question. That was last week. I asked if there is a crack in the APC, but it was like, no, there's no crack. But look at what the headline is saying again. APC crisis depends as Omisore labels Lukman black sheep.
Omisore is the national is the national secretary of the All Progressives Congress, and he's not. There is an eternal, of course, any political party, there will be factions, so it could be a factional issue. However, since the appointment of those, those who emerge as principal officers in the Nigerian, both in the Senate and the House, in the Green Chamber, the House of Representatives, there's been some, dissent in opinion, dissenting
opinions and voices.
Aggrieved persons have been raising. So I think that statement might be emanating as a result of people who were expressing this disagreement or dissatisfaction with the way and manner the principal officers emerge. It's 7:24 by the time. So we wrap up with stories on the Punch newspaper. Then we go to stories making the rounds on the Daily Trust newspaper.
Okay, that's all on the Punch newspaper.
And now we're off to stories making the rounds on the front page of the Daily Trust newspaper. OPEC faults call against the funding of fossil fuels in Africa. OPEC false calls against funding of fossil fuels in Africa. Three riders, that story. We need it to drive industrialization, says African petroleum producers. NNPCL denies blocking oil and gas sector's deal. Allays IOC's divestment fears. Now to other stories. EcoBank versus Otudeco, why we have not acted. That's coming from the CBN. Reps ask NUC to hold fees hike in universities. Reps ask National Universities Commission to hold fees hike in universities. FMDQ exchange traded derivatives market goes live. FMDQ exchange traded derivatives market goes live. To other stories beneath the front page, like at the end of the Daily Trust newspaper. Insecurity rise up to occasion. PDP governors tell Tinubu. Insecurity rise up to occasion. PDP governors tell Tinubu. And Tinubu orders a manhunt for Plateau and Benue killers. Tinubu orders a manhunt for Plateau and Benue killers. Man killed. Okay.
I'm very much interested in that story when it comes to Plateau, because it has been every time we see and we hear this. I'm very happy the way the president is taking this issue of insecurity in Nigeria. I mean, something happened and he's speaking up. Is telling the security agency, you have to work, you have to do something. I think it's more better in the sense that that's a proactive manner in which he's taking this issue than the former president, who actually sometimes you have to wake him up from slumber.
No, we can't say that. He wasn't slumbering and he wasn't sleeping.
Are you serious?
Sure, yes. Okay. Look, president.
I mean, what I'm trying to say.
I understand what you're trying to say.
Is you have to actually. Will I say pinch him to a
situation? No, you can't say that. Don't say that. Because the president has saddled the chief of army staff, the chief of naval staff, the chief of air staff.
And sometimes he's always silent.
Just a moment. he has saddled them with their responsibilities. And if there are killings anywhere around the country, nobody needs to tell the army to respond. It doesn't need to make a statement. Mr. President Tinubu does not need to make a statement. When Buhari was in government, he doesn't need to make a statement. The army, naturally, they've been saddled with the responsibility of guarding and protecting the integrity, the territorial integrity of the country. When people constitute a nuisance or commit crimes, terrorism, banditry, criminal activities, the army jumps in. They don't fold their arms and wait for Mr. President to say, I am ordering manhunt for those people. No, you don't. And the president wasn't slumbering. I don't think that's the right word to say.
Okay, in my opinion, please. I actually know what I'm trying to say. But you said he wasn't sleeping.
No. Please, let's go on with the, let's move on. Man killed for stealing bread in Bayelsa. Man killed for stealing bread in Bayelsa.
Another jungle justice.
Jungle justice is not what we want in Nigeria, and the police should swing into action concerning this case. The law court should be involved, and those people who perpetrated this act should be brought to book. Union petitions federal government over NSITF illegal recruitment, unremitted deductions rather. Union petitions federal government over NSITF illegal recruitment, unremitted deductions. That story is on page 5 of the Daily Trust newspaper, and those are the stories making the rounds on front page of the Daily Trust newspaper.
Okay, welcome back, and let's look at the Guardian newspaper. The big headline is saying Akpabio, 13 senators to earn over 5.6 billion naira ex-governor's pension benefits. I'll take that story again. Akpabio, 13 senators to earn over 5.6 billion naira ex-governor's pension benefits. Also, let's look at all the stories in the Guardian newspaper. Hotel staff to die by hanging for killing manager, UK returnee. FMDQ introduced exchange-traded derivatives market. Separating empowerment projects from First Lady's vanities. Separating empowerment projects from First Lady's vanities. Tinubu breaks silence, orders arrest of Plateau Benue killings mastermind. Coalition 6, Remin Kado Sack, revisit of 2006 report of Kwankwaso. Coalition 6, Remin Kado Sack, revisit of 2006 report and Kwankwaso. I would like us to look at the story. The big headline, Akpabio, 13 senators to earn over 5.6 billion ex-governor pension. Okay, because
we're going to speak to our guest concerning that particular story, most especially with the huge amount of money that both the senators and the first governors are earning as pensions.
We need to talk about it. This is huge.
We will, and so when the guest comes, we will ask those questions. The time is 7:31 right here in the studio, and we'll go on a break briefly. When we return, we'll be having a conversation with our guest this morning. Do stay with us. It's the newspaper review on High Impact 102.1 FM.
Do you know bad production can kill a great content idea?
Do you want to have a photo shoot, audio production, or do you need a professional voiceover artist?
Do you simply want unmatched cinematography, video production, or just event coverage, such as weddings, birthdays, or burials?
Or do you need a space for meetings or conferences? All these are possible with High Impact Studios. Don't bring down your creativity. Let's help you take it high
and out of this world with our state-of-the-art equipment and first-class studio space.
We give you the quality you deserve at the best rate.
For more details, call 0706 393 5694 or 0915 958 1881. High Impact Studios. The future.
Drums, please. 'Cause it's summertime.
Come feel the High Impact Summer Experience. Hello, I'm talking about the largest indoor and outdoor games and ride facilities in Nigeria, High Impact Planet Amusement Park. Come on down with your family, friendship groups, or bring yourself. There's something for everyone. Introducing our Super Summer promo packages for individuals and groups. These promo packages grant access to fun games like animatronics, mini playgrounds, bumper cars, skating rink, and haunted arena. There's more. Pre-booked group packages get one extra ticket free, and vouchers to play other games and rides can be purchased within the park. Date 22nd July to 3rd September 2023. Fridays to Sundays only. For more information, visit our website at www.highimpactplanet.com or call us on 081-422-99509. High Impact Planet Road, Kilometer 12, Lagos Ibadan Expressway, opposite Mountain Top University, Ibafo, Ogun State. Terms and conditions apply. High Impact Planet Amusement Park and Resort, the destination of choice.
Welcome back. Many thanks for joining us on the program this morning. It's the newspaper review, and we've taken a look at stories making the rounds on all four newspapers: The Punch, The Guardian, The Daily Trust, and The Vanguard newspaper. And now we have a guest joins us this morning via phone call, Sheson Okwade, public affairs analyst and financial expert. Good morning, Sheson Okwade, and many thanks for joining us this morning.
Good morning, Priya, and good morning to your other anchor.
My name is Afyong Ayeni. My name is Afyong Ayeni, sir. Thank you.
Okay, Afyong, good morning.
Yes, very good morning to you, sir.
Good morning to all our listeners. A beautiful midweek and wet one indeed.
I hope you're experiencing the same where you are. Now,
of course.
Yeah, Mr. Sheson Okwade, and amidst the hardship, or will I say the economic turbulence and difficulty in the land, we look at the story that's making the round on the front page, the central caption that has pictures of government functionaries and senators and past governors who are in the Senate. And the caption above the head of these personalities says, Akpabio, 13 senators to earn over 5.6 billion naira, ex-governor's pension and benefits. What came to your mind when you saw this?
Okay, thank you very much. When it comes to this pension and some other payment to the ex-governors, is a function of the State House of Assembly, and you don't blame the person that is actually being paid, because he's not the one that actually brought out that idea. There are agencies. If you look at RAMFAC, they are saddled with the responsibility of fixing the pay for the public officers, the president, the senators, and the likes. So you ask yourself, who are the crop of individuals that are there, and what are the motives behind some of the things they do, and how sensitive are they even to the plight of the citizens vis-a-vis the leaders that they are actually making some of those money for. You understand that someone like Benga Daniel came out to write a letter that for the period that he will be the Senate, he would not be getting
pension.
The pension that is agreeable to you. So I think it's a function of individual, taking that decision. But when it comes to the statutory act, they have actually been given. I'm sure you know everybody that works is pensionable. So people might counter it to say they've had enough while they are in office, they should not be pension. But we know there are several of them that you might see from the outside world that they make lots of money for themselves, but look at them in the next 2-3 years, you discover that you are much more better than them. So I don't blame those people if they don't turn it down. So I feel it's just morally justified for them to step down, since they will be earning money. Now you are back in service. And what is morally justifiable is for you to step down the pension pending when you'll be out of office. You are back to service, and that should be stepped down. I think that's what is sustainable.
Okay, Mr. Sheson. Okay, sorry.
It's not about them, but about the agency that is saddled with that responsibility to do it.
Okay, I like you said, the Revenue Mobilization, Allocation and Fiscal Commission is saddled with that responsibility at the federal level. I don't know if it's equally taking the same task at the state level, and because
it's the State House of Assembly that actually, bring out the law, and
yes,
there are people to pick the service commission for each state.
Yes.
The service commission for each
yes.
state carry out that
particular function.
Okay.
The thing is, if you said by virtue or by way of moral disposition, the personalities should toe the line that the former Ogun State governor took, but can't it be a matter of legislation that if you have served as a governor and you are now in the Senate, you cannot and you would not earn pension from that because you're still in service? I know they are going to say that these are two chairs of government. We have both the federal and the state. There should be a law that will stop you from taking whatever pension, whatever gratuity, whatever benefit you are getting from the state level until you leave the Senate. And even when you leave the Senate, you are not going to be earning pension as a former senator and a former governor. So you have the liberty to choose one. Can't we make it by way of law so that we have monies coming into the state? We don't use monies coming into the state to pay pensions of former governors and pensions of former legislative officers and leave the state in a porous way.
The question I will ask back is who are to make the law?
The State House of Assembly.
The same set of people, the same sort of assembly who are already thinking ahead of you. Now, if I leave this State House, it's either I become a governor or maybe they'll send me to the federal representative house or the Senate. Are the same set of people you want to promote law that will work against them? You see, until we have sincerity of heart and the consciousness of the people that we are leading, this evades what we are aiming as individuals. They're going away. It's something that is doable, but you ask yourself that an average individual has that greedy nature in them that wants to acquire practically everything. Look at what we are saying. For some of these are leaders, the governors, the senator with fleet of vehicles, and you ask yourself, how many can you drive at a particular move? You are not setting up organization for the younger ones to even engage in and grow themselves. So they come out to become a threat, and you're now putting pressure on the security outfit for your failure. So I think it's about the disposition of our leaders towards, sensitive issues that have to do with the growth and development of the country. See, people like that will not make the law because they're already thinking of what will become of them in the next 20 years. Because the majority of the politicians as we have today have seen this as an avenue where they can just be. You don't have to do any other work. Once you enter into politics, you abandon your primary assignment, and that's what you face and continue to be a politician. So that's the problem we are facing. It is as if it's obtainable in the other time where you go in, you claim, and you serve as you play, and you come back to that particular thing that you are known for. Maybe you're a doctor, you're a lawyer, you're a practitioner, and that's what we see you do. Then you can have some of those things to say, okay, you will not be actually ranting or looking for some of these government funds. But what do you get? The system they refuse to fix will continue to haunt them, and they will continue to seek relevance only in the political space and not in their private sector that they belong to before they actually got that political appointment.
All right. Thank you very much. Now, let me take you to another story. It's on Tinubu breaks silence, orders arrest of Plateau Benue killings mastermind. Now, before I allow you to speak on this issue, I want to let you know that it looks like immediately after Mr. President appointed the new 4th service chiefs, whose names is sent yesterday to the Nigerian Senate for vetting and approval. It looks like there's been this trend of attacks both in Plateau, in somewhere in Nasarawa or in Zamfara, and in a few other states in the northern part of the country. This particular trend just seemed to storm us in the face immediately after Mr. President appointed the service chiefs. Is it a way to test the new administration?
Well, it's not to test the new administration. I think these evil perpetrators, what they try to do is to capitalize on the what I would call lacuna, as in the little gap. You know, it's like we are having exchange of pattern between the old and the new, and started, you know, what I'll call restructuring within the system. It's going on. So what they do is within that particular period, they just trust and see what becomes of them. Because I keep asking myself, if you are human enough, what are you looking out for that you'll be killing your fellow human being? On what basis? On what ground? And you know the way it goes. If the military should strike back, then you see the civil society coming to say that the human right is not being protected. But now that they are eating on masses, innocent people for that matter, for what is not justifiable because of the little gap that we have in this transition.
But Mr. Sheson, I think the civil society can only or will only raise their voice when the military strikes back and you have civilians become collateral damage in the process. That's when civil society strike back. They don't strike back because the army is killing criminals and terrorists.
See, the way these criminals work, they will not work in silos. What they do is they bring in the civilians, you know, to surround themselves in such a way that they will not be hit at. And in the process of you trying to get hold of the criminals, these innocent people will actually be killed. And that's why we have been. I'm just suggesting to the military apparatus. I think the time lag when there is this change of battle, we should still allow people that are in operation not to fill that gap, because we were not hearing this before now. It's been a while, and it's just in time of changing of guard that we are hearing some of these attacks here and there in Benue, in Plateau, and some other part of the country. So I think they should have a way of synergizing in such a way that the operation continue, irrespective of the person that is taking over, and the underground they will have their changeover, that people will not take advantage, just taking advantage of the small time between the old and the new service chief coming. But I can tell you that the service chief, even whether the president speaks or not, they would definitely have, because that is the reason why they have been appointed, and they want to prove justify the reason for their appointment as the service chief. So I'm sure that we will see action in the next few days.
All right.
Okay, let's take a break from that story. Let's look at the story and the Punch. There's a big headline which says Nigerian student faces 12 times in the UK. Tuition soars by 60%. What is your reaction to that story?
Well, the reaction is simple. We have unified money, the value is in such a way to have a way forward. If anybody is outside there and is facing these challenges, well, it's a natural thing that is bound to happen, because those of us that are even local breed are facing some of the challenges posed to us by the act decision taken by the president. So it's a thing that will actually happen for a while. There are ups and downs in life. So you take it as part of the challenges you have to face as an individual, hoping that will be surmounted in a little while. But there is nothing anyone can do as to speak. You cannot give concession to them by saying because they are students or they are out there. If you are seeking for that, what happens to us locally? I'm sure you know the cost at which you buy for these days. I'm sure you know the cost at which you buy things domestically. So if they want to give me the room, well, they are still a citizen in diaspora. But I think I have more concentration on those that are local, that we have taken our faith to stay back and stand the pressure or the few challenges that we are faced with and come out blow. So I think I'm of more concern with people that are local that do are in the diaspora. If the school fees might go high, they might not be able to fulfill, but they are not having anything to do with us in Nigeria. So if they are there, they should work with those circumstances around that area, earn good dollar, and even send some to us at home rather than them complaining that what they are getting to move to that particular area is really high. You have the option to pick now, where you look at the cost of relocation and for you to stay back and see how to fix things. It's only in this part of time that we run away from our trouble. The areas where you are going, they once faced this kind of problem, maybe 100 or 150 years ago. And they faced it hook, line, and sinker. And today they are better off for it. Why are we running away from our challenges and now complaining that the outside there is really not conducive? For me, I think I will give kudos to those that are here, who are resilient, who are ready to face the challenges and come out to make Nigeria great.
Yeah,
yes.
Sorry to part in. The Nigerian education sometimes can be, like a kind of a drag. The situation. That's why some of the students go outside the country to actually find education.
Whatever it is, if you ask the people in the other climes that you are going, years back, say the same thing. Let's both stay back home and try to fix it. Some of us here have opportunities to travel out. But we believe in our nation because whatever it is, you cannot, if those people that have excused themselves out of this country, if you come back, like Priya, I don't think he's having the mood to go. If we come and we say
how
that,
do you know, Mr. Sheson?
You're right.
If you're able to fix it today, 10 years to come, my sister, you'll be proud of yourself that you are part of the struggle that make Nigeria great. Let me tell you, we have the resources, we have the human capital. What we need is the political will and a committed leader to make things happen.
Okay,
and you see that
Mr. Sheson, I'm sorry I need to butt in. I'm sorry I had to butt in here. Mr. Sheson, the political will is not cheap. It's too expensive. And when you see those who are at the ends of affairs, who have this political will to spend at the expense, but they audit because they don't spend it, and that has a very devastating effect on the nation's economy. Well, if we complain about those who are traveling out and those who are still back at home, I think those who are still back at home, fine. Maybe they have their own specific reasons, but look at it. Okay, Nigerian students will be hit by strikes, academic staff union. The doctors will go on strike. The level of inflation is very, very high. There are security challenges. And if they travel out, they have the liberty to migrate. And when they travel out, it doesn't mean they are less Nigerians. They are still Nigerians. They are still
Nigerians. That's
right. So the government can intervene. Yes, Mr. Sheson. Yes, Mr. Sheson.
It's not correct that the atmosphere out there in outside class is as clean and pure as what we consider. They too, they go on strike. They too, they face some of these challenges. But what they try and do is that they face it hook, like and sinker. I would not. Well, they are still our citizens. I will say, I'm not talking for the government. I'm just giving my personal view. There is nothing we can do for them here because it is when you have fulfilled your responsibility in-house as a father, you consider your child that is outside, even when you have extramarital. The one at home, where you come and sleep every day, is what you first look at way of solving their problem. We have a problem, we know that. We keep shouting every now and then. I want to believe that in no distance, that if the right set of people are voted to power and they who have the consciousness and the act of the citizen in the at hand, this will get better. But I would not say that we should concentrate on the people out there who have a better environment of survival. Look at what we are discussing now, insecurity in some part of the country. We don't want to leave that and start concentrating on somebody who is already saying, staying safe in United Kingdom or US or Canada. You can't compare it. You have to first solve the problem internally because that's where you even going to generate revenue that you use in making sure that those outside have a leverage on what you want to do. So I think we need to first domesticate and solve the problem, then we can consider those things. If I don't people there, what we are encouraging them to do is to put in more work and see how they can start putting remittances back home. Irrespective of whatever they are doing, let them see how they can salvage the situation of an average Nigerian that is there. Because if somebody earns $100 there and you send $50, pray if you convert it with the current rate, that's big money for a Nigerian at least to survive. But it's nothing to them over there. So So those are the things that we should look at to for solving our problem domestically before we concentrate on those that are outside.
All right. Lastly, before I let you go, there's a story on the Daily Trust newspaper. It says reps ask NUC, that's the National Universities Commission, to hold fees hike in varsities. What's your take on it?
Yeah, I think I will agree with the rep. They seem not to understand the law signed by the president on the issue of this loan. They want to capitalize on it and see how to hike the prices of that thing. Is not meant for everybody. It's meant for the indigent students who cannot afford a good education. So I will not support the atmosphere of them going up to hike the tuition fee as they are actually projecting to do. There are a lot of, pardon me, my personal view, you see, all our sectors are corrupt-based. There are a lot of things that some of these people managing some of these schools are doing that are improper, and because nobody is flagging or putting such light into it, it seems to be having their way, or they complain of government not supporting them. But a lot are being extorted, even from the students who we feel that are not doing anything. As an average student, a lot that they are actually facing in the hands of some of these lecturers. They will give you a fair share of it. I feel it's not hiking the tuition fee that is the major thing. They complain of the federal government spending flamboyantly. Go and see an average VC and see some of those lecturers, what they are doing. They will tell you that in some of their lectures they are granting overseas that is giving them the money. Investigate properly. Some of the allocation meant for them to and not judiciously. And that's why we've been saying that if we have an internal control and a system that works, a system that is institutionalized, you discover that some of these flaws that are going on in our institution, in the system, will be exposed and will be better.
But it looks like the Economic and Financial Crimes Commission has not extended its dragnet to the Nigerian university system. So what's keeping them? They only focus.
I don't think nobody is complaining about them. They seem to be sympathizing with them rather than having a deeper look into their course of operation in that place. You know, EFCC will not act on the what I call impulse. They will definitely have a report, maybe an allegation against maybe one of these 2% in the education sector. When they investigate it, you now see kind of work based on that will have, you know, that will give someone else another boldness in another place to come talk about it. But as we speak, they seem to be on the sympathetic side. People sympathize with them that things are not going well with them. But I know that there is a lot going on in that sector that needs to be been into.
All right. Thank you so much for your time.
Thank you so much for
Sheson Okwate, a financial expert and public affairs analyst who joins us this morning. Thank you so much for your time on the newspaper review.
Thank you very much for having me, and I wish you the very best of the day.
And you too. Do have a splendid day ahead. And that's where we drew the curtain this morning. I am Oyin Priye Krumale. Many thanks for listening.
I am Afyong Ayeni. Thanks for listening.